Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is a bit of a beginner's guide, I guess you could say, for Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Now, I have made a couple other Virtua Fighter videos, and they'll be linked at the end of this video. I highly suggest you check them out. But in this, I'm just going to basically go over the basics of the game. Some of the more super hardcore stuff, well, we'll learn that another day. But just to get your mind straight on the game and just to understand how this crazy game works, that's what this video is for. And that said, let's start at the absolute core basics. So now starting at the absolute start here, Virtua Fighter is a 3-button game. There is guarding, there is punching, and there is kicking. Those are the 3 buttons, that's it. Now, if for whatever reason you think, oh man, if there's only 3 buttons, this game can't be that in-depth, are you ever off base? Let's put it that way, right? But yeah, that is the core essence of the game. So if you hold guard and nothing else, you will defeat all high attacks and mid attacks. If you guard and then crouch, you will defeat low attacks. High attacks will go over your head because you're crouching, and mid attacks, they will bop you in the head. A crouching guard cannot defeat a middle attack. You will get bopped. So all things being equal, in this game, it is much safer to stand block everything, as a lot of the best attacks in the games are middle attacks. So if you try to crouch block those, you will get blown up. Punch attacks, well, they're punches, and a lot of directions in a punch could lead to certain things. It could be like a back fist, could be all sorts of elbows. There's a lot of things. Same with kicks, right? Base kick is a kick, forward kick could be a knee, back kick could be something else, down kicks usually are lows and stuff like that. And if you want to mix and match your buttons, kick and guard is usually a very extra big kick. Sometimes it can lead to some fancy stuff, as you can see here. Punch and kick together usually leads like big punches, big elbows, shoulder checks, that kind of stuff. And when you hit all 3 buttons together, it usually leads to something special for the character. For a lot of characters, there's a stance switch or a special attack or something like that. Now on to the basics of movement. Virtua Fighter is an 8-direction game, so you can move freely in any of the core 8 directions, as you can see here. Now, one of the big things is, you know, hey, if you want to hold forward, go forward, hold back, you go back, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of dashing in this game, so to dash, simply hit the direction you want to dash in 2 times. So forward dash, forward, back dash, back, simple enough, right? And so if you want to gain a lot of speed quick, you can like really dash forward a lot, or if you want to get out of there, back dash a bunch. There's also crouch dashing. So crouch, just dash, double tap forward in the direction you want here. So see here, this is a double down forward is a forward dash here, and double down back is a back dash. The big thing about a crouch dash versus a regular dash is you are low to the ground, you are crouching, right? So high attacks will indeed go over your head, as high attacks cannot hit someone crouching in any way, shape, or form. Now, you'll still get hit by mids and lows and all that kind of stuff, but it is an additional layer of defense. Also, you will not be thrown, as throws, for the most part, are all highs as well. So it's a good way to get in with keeping a little bit of a defensive safety for you. Another form of movement that is very important is the evade. So it's simply tap up or down, and you will evade. And evade is a built-in defensive property. It is effectively invincible, for the most part, against linear-based attacks. Attacks that have no circular properties to them. So say we know the enemy is going to attack back, right? Since a base jab is a linear-based attack, I can just dodge out of the way. Simple as that. And from that point, I'll be on their side, and there's a lot of stuff where being on their side matters, which we'll talk about later in the video. And that's about the long and short of it. However, you cannot evade attacks with any amount of circular property. So as you can see here, Akira, I can't get him. Like he's just untouchable. He's dodging everything I'm doing. What can I do? Well, if I do a move with a circular base attack, hey, all of a sudden that dodge doesn't work so good. And it's actually very easy if you are in training mode to see what is a circular base attack or not. So if we turn on our data here, go to our friendly display settings, go to detailed stats. Now you can see here on a bit on the right here, circular attack, evade back, circular attack, evade front, and circular attack can't evade. So this specific move I'm doing here, this is a full circle. So evading forward or backwards into the screen, doesn't matter. There is no evading this move. You will get bopped in the head. Now certain moves, like say this one right here, this is Vanessa's forward and punch. You can only evade in one direction. So the direction Akira is trying to evade in is not working so good. But if you were trying to evade in a different direction, and now here, See, he's just evading this all day long. So this is the correct dodge for this move. So he can't dodge the other way, he'll get smacked. But if he dodges this way, he'll get out of it. Now the full circle, once again, no dodging, not happening. But that is the way things go. Now full circle moves tend to be a lot slower than semicircular moves. So that's the payoff. You get complete coverage, but at the expense of a much slower move. But a lot of moves just kind of have the semicircular thing built in, and you just have to have the character knowledge to know which way to correctly dodge. Also, a part of movement, it matters more for certain characters than others, but jumping. Like, this isn't Street Fighter, this ain't Mortal Kombat. Don't expect to jump all day and win, because it's not happening, right? But sometimes you do gotta jump. So to jump, just pick any of the upwards direction, so up, back, up, or up, forward, and then hit guard, and you'll jump in that direction. And of course, naturally, you can attack while jumping. There's generally two kinds of jumping attacks. Hitting attack right as you jump, or jump and then right for the landing and then hit attack. And they will give you different options. So this is me with Vanessa, jump punching right away, as you can see here, and me jump punching as I'm about to hit the ground, which is a different kind of move with different properties. Once again, jumping character to character, it's a bit different. Some people find it much more valuable than others, but at the very least, if you just want to do upward jumping kick, that'll generally speaking avoid all lows and they'll bop them in the head, so that's always handy to a degree. Now let's talk the basics of offense. The offense comes from your punch and kick buttons. I know, no real surprise there, right? One of the things to note here, I'll just gloss over it a bit. There are so many kinds of attacks, like punches, kicks, knees, elbow-based attacks, like shoulders, double punches, double kicks. These all technically matter, although don't stress it too much. They mostly only matter for purposes of like countering attacks and certain kinds of what we call sabakis, attacks that eat other attacks. So don't worry about the attack classes so much as just, you know, do what buttons hit the enemy good. Now, there are certainly things like combos in the game, but keep in mind, compared to a more direct analog like Tekken, Virtua Fighter is not as combo heavy. Not to say there isn't big combos, because there certainly is, right? But overall, it's not as big of a combo game. Most big combos are like 6 or 7 hits, and that's about it. Now, for basic offense in Virtua Fighter 5, for the most part, your generally fastest attack is going to be your stand punch or your crouch punch. Now, some characters can cheat the rules a little bit, but we won't worry about that right now. Generally, their stand punches and crouch punches come in at 12 frames. Now, the thing here, especially crouch punch, because crouch punch is one of the building blocks of Virtua Fighter, since for a lot of characters it's generally your fastest base attack, not counting throws, which we'll get over in a minute. A crouch punch, since it is crouching, automatically goes under all high attacks, right? So it's a good way to basically steal initiative back. Like, say the enemy blocks one of your moves and you are at negative frames. So you can see the little frame counter here in the bottom left, right? So say I go for this. So I'm -5. Now I know, say they're gonna do something very fast and like forward reaching, but it's a high, I can immediately just go crouch punch and I'll beat them out of it because the high will go over my head and I'm effectively stealing my turn back. Heck, say they even block my crouch punch, right? -5, it's not my turn, as it were. But if they're going to follow up with a high, well, I'll just do crouch punch again. It's one of the core building blocks of the game. Like, a lot of characters, that crouch punch is their best friend, right? It's all about keeping pressure and stealing pressure. Just keep it in mind is what I'm trying to say. It's so important for so many characters. Now, keep in mind, one of the basic building blocks of offense as well is if they crouch punch, they're negative. So what you should follow up next is with a mid attack. So if they try to crouch punch again, generally speaking, you pick your fastest mid attack and then it will beat them. So that is one of the building blocks of offense. If they keep doing crouch punch, block one and immediately go for your fastest mid. And once again, if you're looking for moves and speed, go into training mode here, go to your display settings, detailed stats. That's what you want right there. And that's where you can see all the frame data and just mess around with moves. When it says execution here in the bottom left, the lower the number, the faster the move. That's exactly what you're looking for. Now, this is a little hard and fast, but for a lot of characters, generally speaking, either down forward punch or forward punch will be among their fastest mids, just so you know. There's a lot of ways to attack. There's a lot of different moves in the game. Use what works for you, because there's a lot of craziness, to say the least, right? Now, generally speaking, here's a rule. Generally, highs are the fastest attacks, lows are the slowest attacks, and mediums, well, they're kind of medium, right? One other rule generally is a lot of lows are negative on hit unless they knock the enemy down. Now, you won't be punished, but keep in mind, lows are not most characters' preferred form of offense. They're more for just sneaking in damage where you can get it. So just keep that in mind. Bulk of your offense will be highs and will be mids. Now, another basic building block of offense is throws. Throws are very important in Virtua Fighter. Now, for the most part, throws are the fastest attacks in the game. So the average throw, whatever shape it may come in, is 10 frames. So this base throw here for Vanessa, just chucking you, that's 10 frames. A throw with Vanessa here, and I'm going to break your friggin' neck. That's still 10 frames and does a lot more damage, right? But generally speaking, they are faster than strikes. So like you see here, once again, 12 frame startup, 12 frame startup, and throws are 10 frame startup. To throw the enemy, basically they have to be not doing anything. They can either just be not standing still, they can be guarding, but they cannot be in the middle of an attack. You cannot throw someone, with rare exception, in the middle of an attack. Now after a stand punch, I am at advantage, right? I'm +2. And his frame, Akira's stand punch is also 12 frames, so it would stand to reason. If I were to throw right afterwards, I'd win, but you cannot throw someone that's attacking. That's just one of the rules. So if you got someone that's only going to mash buttons forever, you're not really going to land throws on them. You got to teach them to finally learn how to block. And when you finally teach them to learn to block, that's when you can start bonking them on the head. Throws always come in one of 3 flavors. Back throw, which is this one right here for Vanessa, neutral throw, and forward throw. Now, no matter what the input is, like you can have 3 or 4 throws that are all forward throws. What matters is the final direction of the throw. So if it's half circle forward, it's a forward throw. If it's just forward and throw, it's a forward throw. If it's like Zangief 360 motion ending in forward, it's all forward throws. So all throws matter in one of these 3 directions. Some characters also have crouching throws in that they can hit the enemy while they're crouching with a throw. And these follow the same rules here. So instead of back, neutral, or forward, it's down, back, down, or forward. So just so you know, it always ends in one of these directions. Not everyone has these. Generally speaking, the characters that are more throw focused, like Wolf, Jeffrey, Vanessa, Takahashi, that kind of stuff, these are the characters that have crouching throws. Now the thing is, unlike some other 3D fighters, most throw animations look identical. Like this is neutral throw, this is forward throw, this is back throw. You can't tell the difference, right? So the big thing about throw breaks and teching throws in Virtua Fighter is it's a knowledge check versus a reaction check. There ain't no leading limb or something like Tekken, right? So the good thing is, since it's a knowledge check, you actually get to pre-buffer throw techs in this game. So right here, Akira is going for his back throw. And the thing is, if I know he's going for his back throw, I can easily defeat it. So all I have to do is, while I'm guarding here, hold punch and the direction of the throw you think it's going to be. So right now I'm holding guard, punch, and holding back. And that's it. He'll never be able to throw me with any throw ending in back. End of story. Now, he could still hit me with a neutral or forward throw, yes, but this back throw, not happening. So if I know he likes going for the back throw, while I'm guarding, just hold guard, hold punch, and hold that direction, and you're good to go. You'll always tech. So once again, this is not a reaction check. This is a knowledge check. Now, yes, you can tech on reaction, right? That is an option available to you, but you know, why make it hard for yourself? I knew it was coming. I still screwed up the tech, right? So why make it hard for yourself? So all you gotta do is hold punch while you're guarding, hold the direction you think the throw is coming for, and that's all there is to it. For things like crouching throw, same deal. Just hold the direction here. So down would be neutral, down back will be down back, and down forward will be down forward, and you'll auto tech those throws as well. So this relies on you knowing what throws are for what characters, right? And that's the hard part, I guess, because you're going to have to learn what character have what throws and what direction those throws are going to be. Now, at the worst situation, you could just guess, right? So, like, if you're just holding a direction or whatever, you have like a 33% chance of getting it right, I suppose. But that's part of the game. So throws are very strong in VF, but it's also very easy to break a throw if you know what specific throw is coming. Now, there's a very specific class of throws, catch throws, offensive throws, whatever you want to call them, but these throws are not techable. Like this throw for Vanessa, there's no teching it. If it hits you, end of story. Same with Vanessa, if she's an offensive stance and she goes for the tackle, you can't break it. Now, you can break the follow-up. So say we set the enemy here, and we're going to set them to break all throws. So they cannot break the tackle, as it were, but they can break anything from the tackle. So a lot of inescapable throws put you in a situation where it's like a three-way guess which follow-up throw is going to be. Like Vanessa has it, Taka has it, Wolf has it, that kind of stuff. The initial setup is not techable, but everything else is. But then again, once again, few oddball situations like this one here. For Vanessa, her line ground throw, this cannot be teched in any way, shape, or form. But these ones that are just true throws that can never be teched are very few and far between. Another core part of offense in Virtua Fighter is what we call sabakis. These are moves that straight up eat other moves. It doesn't matter if I'm on frame 1 of the move starting up and you're on the final frame that's going to hit. Doesn't matter, I'll eat the move. So let's use Vanessa here. Down back punch is an example. This is defensive stance elbow, right? And this move basically crushes all lows. Like, I'll wait for him to be almost done with his crouching punch, and then I'll go for it. And when you know it, I just eat it. So this move just devours low attack. So I could be negative, right? Like, I could be in almost a punished state. But if I know in this exact example, the move you're going to follow up with is a low, then I can do my down back elbow, and I'll just take it to the cleaners. I'll beat it straight up. Now, unfortunately, this is a remaster of the base game, and if you go into command list, it's not exactly going to tell you which moves is Sabaki and which moves not, right? So please head to virtualfighter.com. They have a great detailed wiki there, and you can learn what moves do what for the characters. But just be aware, you know, if it looks like you should have hit and you didn't, and instead they hit you, you probably got hit by a Sabaki, because these moves are designed to eat very specific kind of moves. Now, in this exact same scenario, so say the enemy's going to go for a mid, an elbow in this specific case. Well, I'm going to get beat, because this move is not designed to beat mids, and especially not designed to beat elbows, right? So it's a very specific tool for a very specific situation, but just keep this kind of stuff in mind, because all this stuff is super critical and super key. Another fun part of offense is what we call hit throws. Like, yeah, there's all sorts of big kicks, big boots, just clonking the enemy, all that kind of stuff. But what if you could throw them while you're hitting them? And, well, that's what these are. So not every character has these, but just for an example here, Vanessa, down forward kick and guard. This big old boot to the stomach, right? If this connects and I hit throw right when it connects, I get a guaranteed follow-up, as you can see right there. There's nothing they can do about it. There's no teching it. The only thing is I got to make sure my timing is right and I hit throw right as the move connects. And there's more kinds. So a lot of hit throws in this game are based off the fact that you counter hit the enemy. So this one here for Vanessa is just forward kick, so it's a big knee. And if I hit throw right away, I'm now put into this stance. Now, from this stance, those throws from the stance can be teched. Have back throw, neutral throw, and forward throw, and you can see the enemy set to auto tech all throws right now. So they're going to tech everything, right? But it gives you an opportunity to do so. So now say the enemy's not going to auto tech all my throws. I get my stance here. If I go for like forward throw, I whip him around. A lot more damage than the base hit throw here as well. That's part of the reason why it's a bit of a guessing game, because you can just get a lot more going on. And just a lot of opportunities. A basic low risk strike. And since we mentioned earlier about frame data, down -5 is not that negative. So don't be afraid to like try to steal a turn back by, you know, mashing down punch or something like that. So a lot of hit throws basically are fairly big reward for mostly low risk. Now some hit grabs, like some of the really good ones, like say what Taka has, that comes with an unsafe move. So you're inheriting a bit of risk. But once again, just go to your move list here. If you see a move here and somewhere along the side it says like you can hit punch and guard here, your throw, then all of a sudden you'll get a throw out of it, and that's all you need. Okay, so now we talked a little bit about counter hits here in the last section, right? So what is a counter hit? Like a basic hit is a basic hit is a basic hit. But if you are hitting someone in the middle of their own attack, that is a counter hit. And what does that offer? Well, one, it offers a bit more damage, right? So say here 10 damage, and if we have the enemy counter hit instead, hey, 15 damage. So big damage bonus, right? But also look at that frame advantage. So +8 on hit with the counter hit. We go back to regular hit. Oh, it's +5, right? So you actually get more frame advantage per hit too. So the big thing is, one, more damage, and two, it can allow for certain combos to happen that normally couldn't happen. Even on the most basic level, like Vanessa, punch punch is not a combo. Like it'll string, sure, but if you look here where it says hits, it just says 1-1. versus like forward punch kick, which is an actual combo, so it says 2 hits, or punch kick, or whatever, right? But since we have the counter hit, and we have the additional frame advantage, now it is an actual combo. That's a pretty big deal. Also, a lot, and I mean a lot of moves have special properties that only work on counter hit, like say the hit grab example we showed in the previous section. So it is always to your advantage to counter hit the enemy. Try to bop them while they're trying to do something, and you'll just get a lot more damage and probably a lot bigger combos. Also, in this game, since it is a 3D fighter and positioning is totally a thing, right? If you were to hit someone on the side, you will get more frame advantage than if you were to hit them just in front of their face. So right there, +7 from hitting him on the side, right? Versus +5, which once again makes Punch Punch a natural combo where it is not in his face. So if you can evade or catch someone side turned or whatever, that matters a lot because you can get a much bigger reward and potentially get combos where you never otherwise would. And in fact, some characters have moves that only enable a special property like a launch or a crumple or whatever, only if you hit them side turn and counter hit. So it's another big bonus to make sure you evade the enemy's attacks. So let's talk staggers. So you can see that little lever there in the corner, and it's like going back and forth. And what that means is it wants you to go back and forth on your arcade stick or your controller, whatever you're using, very fast. Because if you don't, well, there's bad things. Like this is a combo if you don't shake out in time. However, if you do shake out in time, then it's not a combo. So the one thing that's a little misleading that confuses some people is this. So yes, you have to go back and forth, but the green part at the very beginning, that part is not shakeable. It's just basically a, hey, get ready, like, but it won't count any of your inputs. Only when it's in the red will it start counting your inputs. But it just needs to be back and forth, nothing more than that. And the faster you get out of it, the more safe you're gonna be. Now, one thing is I highly suggest hold block while you're doing it, while you're holding your, moving your back and forth there, because you might accidentally get a dash or something, like the frame after you get the shakeout, and then that still may be punishable. So just hold guard while you're doing it, and that's really all there is to it. There's a lot of situations where you'll find yourself stagger, so just watch out for those. Now let's talk the ground game. You've probably at some point found yourself knocked down, right? And most people, what they're gonna do when they're knocked down is they're gonna mash kick, because that's the thing, right? So yes, if you mash kick, you will wake up and kick. Or if you hold down and mash kick, you'll wake up and then basically do a sweep, as you can see there, right? So that's an okay option, and those options for the most part are safe. But the thing is, if you do that too much, you're gonna get blown up. So many characters in this game have the option like be sort of close, then like backdash and then punish it, or maybe have like back movement built in to avoid it and then punish it, that kind of stuff. Or like they can just jump over the low with any move that has any jump property, or they can have moves that beat out kicks, and like as we went over the back, there's a lot of things, right? So you don't want to rely only on wake up kick. Thankfully, you got other options. So when you're knocked down, if you hit punch, kick, and guard at the same time, which is all 3 of the buttons, you will get up immediately. Now there's rare exceptions where there's like true hard knockdown, but for the most part, you're able to get up right away. And for a lot of attacks, if you hit up or down while you are landing and hitting the buttons, you will roll in that direction. So it just makes life a lot easier for you, gets you back in the fight a lot quicker, certainly a lot better, especially if someone's like anticipating a wake up kick. Just one of the directions and go for it. Now Vanessa, she's cute. She's got a built-in little stance here where she can go into her unique lie-down stance. Some people have unique attacks from getting knocked down. Vanessa, of course, one of them here. But for the most part, most people don't have that, right? But yeah, so hit all 3 of your buttons when you hit the ground, either in place and you get up right away, or up or down, and you can roll in that direction. But that's the fastest way to get back up and get back into the fight. Now, Virtua Fighter has what we call a weight system. The heavier you are, the less high you're gonna go up for juggles and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of universal combos that work on everyone in the game, but don't work on Taka Arashi, the sumo wrestler, because he's so friggin' big, right? And there's a lot of characters you might find, characters that you think would weigh the same, but it'll work on one character, won't work on the other. And that's a lot of, well, the depth of Virtua Fighter is you gotta really pay attention to how heavy the other character is. So I'm going to show you a basic Vanessa combo here. Works on everyone in the game, but Taka. There you go, decent damage. So now let's flip over to Taka. Okay, so now we have Taka here, big boy. Try the same combo. Doesn't get all of it, as you can see here. And that's just how it is, because Taka is so big, you just can't get all of it. You still get some of it, but not all of it. But hey, that combo works on Taka, and that is using his unique weight situation. And as you might find, the damage is pretty comparable, right? So we just need to change the combo up specifically for Taka. Now, unfortunately, Taka's the real signatory here. A lot of combos will work on a lot of people, and you're going to have to learn Taka-specific stuff, and that sucks, right? But that's just how it is. That's what happens when you're up against the big boys. But Taka's weird and all that, so let's show you a little more subtle comparison. So let's show you this here for Vanessa. Defensive stance, just down kick, punch. This is a natural combo on counter hit. Now against Go and most of the characters in the game, I can do something like this. Not too fancy, not too complex, but it works, right? Now let's go to someone who is in the same weight class as Go, but something's different enough that it won't work. So here we are, same combo. And it just struggles to connect the same way. Like, it really shouldn't, but it does. You don't think Akira's a lot fatter than Go, but, well, here you go, right? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So you gotta watch out on stuff like that. Now, generally speaking, the weight system works like this. You have, like, ultra lightweights, I guess if you want to call them that. That's Eileen and El Blaze. You have people who are pretty light. Aoi, Sarah, Shundi, Pai, Leon. People who are, like, middleweight. Vanessa, Lau, Cage, Lei, Brad, Go. People who are just a smidge heavier, like Akira, Jackie, Jean. People are the heavyweights, that's Jeffrey and Wolf. And the super heavyweight Taka. There can be a lot of character specificity in combos, sadly. Now, don't let me scare you here, because most of the combos just work, for the most part, against like everyone in the cast except for Taka. And even then, a lot of combos are universal even against Taka, right? But just keep in mind, if you're struggling and you beat up whatever dummy you were beating up, and the combo worked fine, then all of a sudden you went online or something and the combo didn't work the same way, maybe try it against that specific character, and you might find something's a little different. So just a big heads up on that. And hey, let's talk walls. As you may notice, a lot of stages have a big old cage around them. Could be a very high cage, a low cage, just a little thing that's like ankle high, or maybe nothing, right? But the wall is a big part of the game because, well, you can splat people against the wall and get wall-specific combos. Like say here, as Vanessa, because we're using Vanessa for this tutorial, if I hit you with forward kick, which is a great move, as a full circle move, you can't evade it, and if I hit you with counter hit and hit you against the wall, it can splat you against the wall. And from there, normally I can never combo from it, but thanks to this, I can. So all of a sudden, I got a lot of damage, as you can see there, right? And once again, mid-screen, I would never get a thing. That's all there is to it. So a lot of moves become very deadly against the wall. Like say here, Vanessa offensive stance. Half circle forward throw, she'll go underneath you and break your ankle. Cool, 60 damage. But if she does the exact same throw against the wall, she just starts unloading on you and going crazy. And 70 damage, so more damage. So a lot of characters, their throw games, especially people who are more throw-based, get way deadlier when there's a wall involved. And some characters can even use the wall to their advantage depending on the situation and spacing. Like, whoa! Look at that, just flipped over the wall. Or conversely, hey, I just watched a whole bunch of Robin Show and Tony Jaa movies, and I'm just gonna jump off the wall and kick you in the face. There you go, right? These are things, not everyone can do these, right? Like Taka Arashi the Sumo, he's not jumping off the wall and doing Vega wall dives or anything. But some characters, they can also use the wall to the advantage in that way. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about for you in this video is open and closed stance. Now, this is getting a bit more advanced, but it matters, except for the points where it doesn't matter, but it matters when it matters. So what is open and closed stance? Well, you're looking at it right now. Basically, open and closed stance is this. Is your chest facing the screen, like it is for Vanessa, or is your chest facing away from the screen, like Akira is? If your chest is facing the screen, that is open stance. If your chest is facing away from the screen, that is closed stance. Now, if the enemy is in open or closed stance, that can change certain things. In a lot of edge case scenarios, certain combos only become possible if you're in open or closed stance, or if the enemy is in open or closed stance. So I switched characters here because, once again, these are edge case scenarios, but we got Wolf here versus Jeffrey. Okay, that looked easy enough, not too complex, but note his chest is facing out. So now notice his chest is facing the different direction once we reset. And the same combo, it's not gonna happen. Like, no matter what I do, try as hard as I may. Like, even if I get the first bit, the second hit's gonna whiff. Like, it is just not possible. Like, it's specifically based on his stance. It is just not happening. Now, once again, if we have him switch over to the other side, easy peasy, right? But that's one of the things. These are more edge case scenarios, but it can matter a lot if the enemy's chest is facing towards the screen or away from the screen. That is the essence of open and closed stance. And that's it for this beginner's guide, tutorial, whatever you want to call it. This is absolutely just scraping the surface. This is like the least amount I could tell you just to get your feet on the ground. Virtua Fighter 5 is a very, very, very in-depth game, and there is so much in it that like one video cannot possibly hope to cover everything, right? So, but hopefully this is enough just for you to understand a lot of the basics, understand what's there on the horizon. Once again, I highly suggest checking out virtuafighter.com. They have a very in-depth wiki that covers a lot of stuff. A lot more than I can cover in one video, that's for sure. But hopefully this helps just get you going. And that all said, that's the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Virtua Fighter.
This is the love we can